explosion has rocked downtown Sun Prairie.
Could see flames. You could see a lot of smoke.
There was this big boom, and it knocked me to the ground.
You can see a group of about a dozen people who have been displaced.
Lost everything that day.
So sorry.
We have learned within the last hour, one of those members died fighting the fire.
That firefighter's name is Corey Barr.
You have never met a more devoted father.
Luckiest girl in the world to have met someone like him.
We will continue to build strength with Corey's legacy in our hearts.
It has been just a great outpouring of support.
We really need the power of the community to help out.
You're taking a live look right now at our Sun Prairie Strong phone bank this morning, where our awesome group of volunteers continues to take your donations and your calls this morning for that city's disaster relief fund. 100% of that money will stay in the community. If you want to give, please give a call to 274-4000. Again, that number 274-4000.
And thanks for joining us on this Tuesday morning. A great effort happening here at News 3. We've got volunteers nice and up and early. We thank them so much for doing that. Great job being done by them.
People are going to be here through our 10 p.m. broadcast, so it's going to be a long day for everybody. But at least the people here early, Hattie, got to take in this beautiful sunrise and get to take in more of the day.
Yeah, not a bad day to have to get up early today, I'll say that. We had a beautiful sunrise earlier. Sun is now up. We have just a few clouds in the area. This is the view on the west side of town here at our studio looking to the east. Look at temperatures this morning. We're back up to 63. We dropped to 62 last hour, so 63 now in Madison, 63 in Janesville, 62 in Platteville, and 61 in the Dells. Our forecast today, a gorgeous day. Humidity is going to stay low. We're looking at highs right around 80 degrees at 4 p.m. this afternoon. Sunshine expected all day today, so grab those sunglasses as you head out the door this morning. Nothing major happening right now to slow you down in the Madison area. No accidents to report, so still looking good as you head into Madison. And that's your first alert traffic.
What a gorgeous, gorgeous sunrise out there.
It was beautiful.
Glad to have some extra hands helping us out this morning and checking out that sunrise.
True.
Thanks, Addie.
You're welcome.
So the rebuilding process downtown in Sun Prairie is still on hold this morning. Police are continuing to investigate the cause of last week's explosion.
Changes to the downtown area can't be made until officers finish the death investigation. You'll remember firefighter Corey Barr was killed in the explosion. Sun Prairie police say they should be wrapping up in a few days. Then business owners can return. There are now 2 different investigations underway. One by police trying to figure out if criminal negligence caused the explosion, and a second by OSHA that deals with workers digging near the site and if they did anything wrong while on the job.
So there are still questions this morning about whether the crews hired to dig in downtown Sun Prairie were actually working in a safe area. The subcontractor hired by Kansas-based Bear Communications was digging for a fiber project there, and during that work, a gas line was hit, which is something experts say happens on a fairly regular basis. However, the natural gas then pooled in the basement of a building, which ignited and caused the explosion. And that's something experts we spoke to say is much more rare. Wisconsin does have a law requiring that contractors make sure that they are digging in a safe area at the time. We reached out to the state-run Diggers Hotline, which helps with worker and public safety during those projects, but did not hear anything back.
Sun Prairie's police chief says he can't think of a tougher day or a more impressive response in his community.
When he's talking about this explosion, he was reflecting with us in the last hour about all of the times he spent downtown and how different it looks. Josh Sprider is live from that very different looking downtown this morning, where the chief is continuing to talk with us about the efforts being made to rebuild that area. Good morning, Josh.
Good morning, ladies. It's a very quiet start down here in downtown, something that is a little bit different for Police Chief Pat Anholt. You said that you grew up here, you lived here since you were 3 years old. You take a look down here, I mean, describe it for me.
Well, Main and Bristol is the crossroads of Sun Prairie, and I've been through this intersection a million times. As a kid on my bike delivering papers, on patrol as a police officer, and then, of course, just bopping around town with my family. And every time I walk down here now, I'm just in disbelief. If you wouldn't know it's real, you would think it is a movie scene.
You know, this is a staple to Sun Prairie, and you look down, you see a lot of the businesses still boarded up. It's quiet, and obviously at this time of the day, this is when things would start to get going. I mean, what does that leave as an impact on the community right now?
Well, I know many of the business owners down here. I've known people that have lived in the residence here that no longer exist. This is, downtown Sun Prairie, and it's very a thriving area. And you're right. When we look at it now, it will never be the same. But I think as we take day in and day out moving forward, we will get back. And I look forward to going back through that intersection another million times. But I know that when I do, each time I'm going to remember Corey Barr, and I'm going to remember what's important in life.
You were telling me just a few minutes ago that you were actually only about a block away when it happened, and since that very moment, you were kind of in disbelief, but what was that support like from the community for you as the police chief here in Sun Prairie?
Sure. Yeah. I was just coming out of a meeting in City Hall, and I was in the back lot when the explosion happened, and after, the initial reaction was, are all of the first responders and our citizens safe? And so we did our best to do that assessment. Then I went to the command post, and that's when I started seeing the total outpouring from the community. And that includes, and when I say collective outpouring, it is truly a collective outpouring. Public safety, community, school district, civic organizations, faith-based organizations, individual community members.
Well, we appreciate you waking up with us this morning, and the chief's going to be back with us just after 6:30, talking a little bit more of that impact. But obviously, a lot of good being done here in Sun Prairie from this tragedy, but certainly staying Sun Prairie strong out here this morning. Ladies, back to you.
All right, thanks, Josh. And coming up in about 10 minutes, we're going to talk to the CEO of the Bank of Sun Prairie, who has a location in that area. They're teamed up with us for this fundraiser. We're going to check in with them. That's in our next couple of minutes here.
Yeah. All right. Thank you again, Josh, very much. And if you need any inspiration to help out today, look no further than the Bed Lady Project. Some kids have not had a place to sleep since the explosion. We were told that 58 people in all are still displaced this morning. So the Bed Lady Project is collecting blankets, pillows, and other bedding for children who have been displaced. And as we've seen over and over again in the Sun Prairie community, that response has been significant. After just 24 hours, Lisa Wilkins has almost enough to help every child.
The community has been extremely generous from the beginning, so I'm not totally surprised that they stepped up for this disaster, but actually I'm thrilled to pieces that they came out so quickly.
Wilkins says the Bed Lady Project does still need some donations, particularly comforters. We do have a link up to their Facebook page over on channel3000.com.
And we are about an hour and a half into our all-day telethon to raise money for the people impacted by the explosion. So far, you've helped us raise more than $2,000 this morning. We're teaming up with the Bank of Sun Prairie to donate all of the proceeds from today to a disaster relief fund that's going to benefit places like the Sunshine Place and the Sun Prairie Emergency Food Pantry, along with the families who were affected by this explosion in Sun Prairie. Now, our phone lines right now, they are open, and they're going to stay open until 10:30 through our last newscast this evening. That number to call today, 608-274-4000, right there on your screen. Look at those smiling faces, up nice and early, taking phone calls as we speak. You can also find more information on our phone bank today at channel3000.com.
Keep them busy, folks. All right, new this morning, 4 teens are facing charges after crashing a stolen car, according to police, into a tree and running from officers. Police responded to that crash near the Smart Motors used car lot on Odana Road yesterday afternoon. Witnesses reported 4 people running away from that crash. Officials say 2 of the suspects ran through a home, damaged windows, and while trying to escape from police. 2 17-year-olds, a 16-year-old and a 14-year-old were all arrested on several charges, including operating a motor vehicle without consent, bail jumping, and resisting arrest.
The Madison man accused of causing a fatal crash on John Nolan Drive should be back in court this morning. 22-year-old Gavin Viam's preliminary hearing is set for today. Police say he admitted to drinking and taking LSD before he crashed into another car at a red light at the intersection of John Nolan and Blair Street last month. 45-year-old Deano McCullough died in the crash. Viam faces charges of homicide by intoxicated use of a vehicle and second-degree reckless homicide. He's being held on a $25,000 cash bond. 6:09 your time now. You're going to take a live look at Studio C here at News 3, where our volunteers are taking your calls to benefit the Sun Prairie Disaster Relief Fund. Help that city and its families and businesses rebuild this morning by giving us a call and giving a donation. That number again, that's 608-274-4000. 4,000. Stay with us.
Right now, everybody's just trying to just widen their arms and just big hugs for everybody. And everybody just stand strong and just being for each other. That's it.
This
Good morning from the patio. The old saying is true. What a difference a day makes. Yesterday at this time, it was extremely muggy outside, but dew points fell through the day from the 70s back into the 50s, and that's where we are this morning. So it feels much more comfortable outside today. Here's a live look from the Edgewater Sky Cam this morning. Sun is up. Skies are mostly sunny and will remain that way through the day today. Our almanac for the day, normal high is 82. We're a little below that today, but not much. I don't think anyone's complaining about these below normal temperatures. 80 is the forecast high. The record for today, set just 6 years ago, 100 degrees in 2012. Our sunset is just after 8:30 this evening. Now here's a look at temperatures this morning. We are all starting in the 60s for the most part south of the Dells. North of the Dells, temperatures are in the 50s this morning. It's 57 in Camp Douglas, 63 though here in Madison and Janesville, 65 in Monroe. Dew points, as I mentioned, though, we're in a much more comfortable range, right around 60 degrees, so you're not noticing that humidity as much as you did yesterday. Satellite and radar trend to the west, a little bit of cloud cover with a cluster of storms rolling across Nebraska into Kansas this morning. Movement on these storms will be to the south and east, so around Wisconsin. No rain in our forecast for today. We may see a few of those clouds, though, drift into the state from time to time. Plenty of sunshine, though, in between. Future Track will show you how temperatures warm today. Back into the 70s already by lunchtime with plenty of sun today. It would be a great day to take lunch outside. Just a few clouds this afternoon with highs right around 80 degrees. It'll stay very comfortable this evening. If tonight is golf night, you are in luck. Temperatures dropping into the mid-70s by 7 p.m. upper 60s by 10. Here's a look at those overnight lows then. Another comfortable night with temperatures starting in the 50s in many locations tomorrow morning. Look at your 7-day forecast to 10-day forecast. We are looking at very comfortable conditions tomorrow. A lot like today with a high of 80 degrees. Rain chances return to the area starting on Thursday, especially during the afternoon. Now, a storm system is going to be a pretty slow-moving one, so we keep the rain chances in the forecast even into Saturday. Temperatures, though, not looking that bad as we head into next week. Now, let's get a look at First Alert traffic with Josh Tim. Good morning, Josh.
Yeah, starting off the morning, moving well on the Beltline. No major delays showing up yet. Heading east or westbound, of course, things will continue to pick up over the next hour or two. Checking out roads here in Dane County, there are some brake lights on the northbound side of Verona Road between Highway PD and the Beltline. That's going to add a couple minutes to your drive. No problems at all downtown around the Capitol Square and UW campus. Volume is definitely not an issue at this point. And other main routes heading into the city, they're cruising along at the posted speeds with no major crashes or delays. Your First Alert traffic, I'm Josh Tim.
At News 3 are partnering with the Bank of Sun Prairie today to help make Sun Prairie even stronger after last week's deadly explosion. We've got an all-day telethon going, taking donations for the Disaster Relief Fund. Joining me now is Jimmy Kaufman. He's the CEO of the Bank of Sun Prairie. Thank you so much for waking up early and joining us with your volunteers here.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. Really excited about today's events, and I really think it's going to make a big impact in the community. So it's all about the community today.
So tell us, how did this relief fund get started in the first place?
You know, interesting enough, it got started at an employee meeting. So right after the tragic events took place, we had an employee meeting, and our employees at the Bank of Sun Prairie are just fantastic about they're great-hearted people, and it became quickly about what can we do to help impact the community versus, you know, we had a bank in the impacted zone too. So the fund, and we also have a disaster relief loan program that we rolled out too as a result of those meetings with our employees. So it's always been about the community, and the community dominated the conversation that day.
Going off of that, it's always been about the community. All of the money we're raising here today stays local in that community. Tell us what some of the efforts are going to help with.
Yeah, so we have two funds. So we have the Barr Family Memorial, which was established by the Sun Prairie Firefighters Association. So 100% of those funds are going to go to the family of Captain Barr. We also have the Sun Prairie Disaster Relief Fund. 100% of those funds are going to go back into the community in the impacted area, in the businesses and residents that were within a half a mile of North Bristol and Main Street at the time of the explosion. So we're working with Sunshine Place, the Sun Prairie Food Pantry in the city to determine the best way to deploy those funds. And you can imagine there's been some emergency type situations, and the bank has been able to play a key role in that because of the generosity of the community to work with those families that were in emergency situations, assess their needs, and help them out.
You mentioned this earlier. Your location is half a block away from the explosion site. A lot of your employees are from Sun Prairie. A lot of the volunteers we have here today, most of them, if I'm correct, are from Sun Prairie. Does that make this a little more personal?
You know, the Bank of Sun Prairie has been in the community since 1897, and we've had a location downtown for all of those years. You know, the fact that we have so many people, we do tend to hire within the community or very close to the community. It is unquestionably personal for the bank and the people that make us so successful.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time this morning to come join us, Jimmy. And if you'd like to help, volunteers taking your calls right now, you can hear the phones ringing behind me. That number, 608-274-4000. We're going to have live updates all day long on News 3 and channel3000.com.
All right, thanks, Leah. We appreciate it, and we appreciate Jimmy and all of you calling in as well. We are about a month away from Wisconsin's primary elections, and we're hearing from the Marquette Law School poll this week about who may be leading among the 8, yes, still 8 Democrats running for governor. We'll get a preview of that poll coming up. And then you are also waking up to another beautiful July day, just a perfect day to get outside. Hattie is sharing your gorgeous First Alert forecast coming up when News 3 This Morning continues.
Good morning. This must be the fittest polar bear ever. Doing laps again in the pool this morning. You'll see the polar bear come into the frame shortly. A great day to be in the pool once again. Not as hot though as it was yesterday. Take a look at our satellite and radar trends. We have clear skies across most of southern Wisconsin this morning. No rain in the area today either. Future track temperatures starting near 60 this morning will climb back into the 70s by lunchtime today, hitting highs right around 80 degrees. So a very comfortable afternoon ahead. Just like today, tomorrow will be beautiful as well. 80 for the high with partly sunny skies. Rain chances return to the area on Thursday, and we could use a little rain around here as well. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you very much, Hattie. In business news this morning, Asian markets were pretty steady overnight as Wisconsin farmers continue to worry about the impact of a potential trade war and Chinese tariffs. We will learn how Wisconsin voters feel about those tariffs when the latest Marquette Law School poll results are released tomorrow. They'll also show who might be leading the Democratic primary for governor. That last month's poll showed a third of voters were still undecided in that race.
A handful of the Democratic candidates for governor will be in Monroe tonight for a public forum. Of the 8 candidates running, Matt Flynn, Mike McCabe, Kelda Roys, Paul Soglin, and Kathleen Vineout have confirmed they'll be there. The winner of the August primary will face Governor Walker, who's looking to become just the second person in state history to be elected to a third 4-year term. That forum is at the Monroe Arts Center tonight at 6:30. 6:24 your time now. Our News 3 phone bank is live right now through the rest of the day, taking donations for the Sun Prairie Disaster Relief Fund. That number to call and help that community rebuild is 608-274-4000.
We're about to hit a volunteer shift change here, so get those calls in, and we'll continue to update you on the efforts throughout the morning. Plus, Fitchburg police want to hear from neighbors about recent gun-related crimes in their community. We'll share more on that when News 3 This Morning continues.
You're taking a live look right now at our phone bank. We have volunteers already donating this morning for the Sun Prairie community as they recover from last week's explosion. We're going to have more on how you can help coming up.
This is News 3 This Morning.
Good morning and welcome back to News 3 This Morning. It is 6:28 now on this Tuesday, July 17th.
We do want to update you very quickly. If you live in Broadhead right now, you might be having some trouble with your power. Police are looking into this. It's a widespread issue, though. They're looking into what may have caused it, how long it might take to fix. So just be patient with them out there. But you'll have plenty of sunshine coming through the windows if need be. So let's turn it over to Hattie McLean, who is out on the Hattie-O patio with another beautiful forecast. Good morning, Hattie.
Good morning. It is beautiful outside this morning. Low humidity, comfortable temperatures. We already have some sunshine, and it's going to stick with us all day today. So a perfect 10, in my opinion, today with the forecast. Take a look at our view from the Edgewater Sky Cam. We've had just a few high-level clouds drifting through the area today, but nothing that's going to bring us any rain. We have temperatures that are about 5 to 15 degrees cooler than they were this time yesterday. No one will complain, though. Still in the 60s in most spots this morning. Take a look at our temperatures over the next 12 hours. We're going to climb steadily today through the 70s to a high of 80 degrees. Now, we do have some rain in the forecast, but it comes on Thursday, so a couple of dry days yet for the area. Your first alert traffic update this morning showing you what's happening on the roads, and still, it is pretty quiet. Low volume, not creating any problems on the roads in and around Madison. No accidents in the surrounding communities either, so you're still traveling at posted speeds heading into Madison. And that's your first alert traffic.
Thank you very much, Hattie. So streets in downtown Sun Prairie, speaking of traffic, are still closed off to any drivers this morning as police continue their investigation.
Changes to the downtown area can't be made until officers finish their death investigation. Sun Prairie police say they should be wrapping up in a few days, then business owners can return. There are now 2 different investigations underway, one by police trying to figure out if criminal negligence caused that explosion, and a second by OSHA that deals with workers digging near that site and if they did anything wrong while they were on the job.
So the state does have its own laws to make sure crews are digging where it is safe to do so. The subcontractor hired by Kansas-based Bear Communications was working on a fiber project when a gas line was hit. Now, experts say that's actually fairly common on construction sites. What's rare is what happened next. Natural gas pooled in the basement of the building, which ignited and caused the explosion. We did reach out to the state-run Diggers Hotline to see if those regulators were monitoring the Sun Prairie site. The agency has not yet responded.
Now, there are a lot of questions that still need to be answered when it comes to this explosion, but there are also a lot of people offering their support for the Sun Prairie community.
58 people still out of their homes this morning who either lived or worked down there, and a few people have seen the outpouring of generosity more than the city's police chief. Josh Sprider is live in downtown Sun Prairie with the chief this morning. Josh, good morning.
Good morning. One of the common messages you'll see throughout town is like this sign right here. Thank you, first responders. You'll see this all throughout downtown, and this is a message being felt in this community, but it's also being felt by those first responders. And we've got Police Chief Pat Anholt with us this morning. And you said even for you guys as first responders, having the support from other first responders from outside of the city has been crucial for you.
Yeah, when the explosion happened, we initiated what's called CAPMAR. It's a mutual aid system. And I remember our Sergeant Brandon Lingle, who we assigned to deploying our perimeter units, he arrived at the high school to do that. And he was so relieved to see 30 police officers from around the county sitting there waiting to take action.
You know, in that moment when you guys, obviously you were a block away when it happened and you dive right into action, but that support from not just those first responders, but even the community is what helps you get through those tough times, right?
Oh, growing up in Sun Prairie, I know this community is great and strong, but what I saw that night and to this day, now a week later, just incredible. The outpouring, just messages and food, and you know, we're so thankful more lives weren't lost. We're so thankful that the injured firefighters and the injured police officers are doing okay, and we're so thankful that we have an opportunity to move forward. And we're so thankful that the community is with us on this path.
Obviously, the recovery efforts are kind of in their early stages here. What can people still do to help out? I know it's a week later, but you guys can still appreciate that support.
Sure. Right now, we've identified 22 uninhabitable living spaces in downtown, and that affects about 58 people. First off, if anyone out there is we haven't contacted or connected with, we'd really like to do so, and you can do that by contacting us or Sunshine Place. But the resources right now, we want to support those families that have lost everything. We've been escorting people into the site here that show up with shorts, a t-shirt, not even shoes, no cell phone, because they left that house during the gas leak and they're returning to nothing.
So kind of a lot of good that can be done from this yet, and we're a week later. But Chief, we want to thank you so much for joining us. I know you're very, very busy with a lot going on, but sounds like there's a lot that still can be done.
Well, I greatly appreciate your support and the support of the collective community.
You bet. All right, Chief, thank you so much. And as you've heard, obviously 1 week later, but very quiet here, but the community certainly isn't giving up, and we hope that they don't give up as we're hoping to do some good today. Sun Prairie strong. Ladies, back to you.
Absolutely. Josh Spreiter reporting live. Thank you so much, Josh.
And we are about 2 hours into our all-day telethon to raise money for the people impacted by the explosion. We're up to $3,000 this morning, donated by you. We're teaming up with the Bank of Sun Prairie to donate all those proceeds from today to a disaster relief fund, benefiting places like the Sunshine Place, you heard the police chief mention there, and the Sun Prairie Emergency Food Pantry, along with the families and businesses impacted in that city. Our phone lines open right now, and they'll stay open until 10:30 through our last newscast this evening. That number to call today, 608-274-4000. Well, 6:34 your time now. Fitchburg police are talking to the community about a spike in gun violence in their community this week. On Thursday night, a 29-year-old man was shot near Leopold Elementary School. Then, just around the corner, police say someone fired shots at an apartment building on Leopold Way. Earlier last week, someone fired shots into a group of people on Thurston Lane, and most recently, Monday night, a man was shot on Anton Drive off Verona Road. Fitchburg police are holding 2 community meetings to talk about those cases and any concerns people living there might have. The first is happening tonight at 6:30 at the Fairway Apartment Office on Traceway Drive. The second is tomorrow night at the Head Start Center on Red Arrow Trail. The police chief will be on hand to outline the department's plan to help make those neighborhoods safer.
6:35 right now, and the governor's office is responding this morning after a picture surfaced of Governor Walker and a woman now charged with conspiracy. That photo was taken at a campaign launch event when Governor Walker ran for president back in 2015. Federal prosecutors have since charged Maria Butina this week with conspiracy to act as an unregistered agent of the Russian government. Now, in a statement, a spokesperson for the governor says that he, quote, never had a meeting, later specifying that there were thousands of people at the convention, and many of them approached the governor and asked to say hello and to take a photo with him. All right, 6:35 your time now. We want you to help make Sun Prairie stronger this morning. Let's take a live look at our Studio C, where our News 3 phone bank is raising money for those impacted by the explosion. An update from them is next on News 3 this morning.
We didn't lose a firefighter yesterday. We lost a family member. We lost a friend. We lost a dear friend. And we will be affected forever, but we will continue to build strength and be a better organization with Corey's legacy in our hearts.
Welcome back. The phone lines are buzzing right now. A lot of people calling in to our Sun Prairie Strong telethon right now. This is 274-4000 if you would like to give to that effort. And one of our awesome volunteers that just got off her shift, she's been here since 4:30 this morning, is Carrie Quinlan. Thank you so much again for coming out here.
Thank you.
And I did want to ask you, you know, you knew Corey, who unfortunately died in this whole scenario. And can you just tell me a little bit about him, the kind of person he was and still is to you? I mean, this is an incredible thing that you're doing in his honor.
He was wonderful. Corey, I grew up with him through school. We started out Northside Elementary and been friends ever since. He was just so compassionate, just give his shirt off or his back and just, he would, I'm sorry. He was wonderful. And he loved our community and just is truly a hero. And yeah, he's just wonderful. I'm sorry.
Please don't be sorry. I think a lot of people share in your, I mean, it's obvious that a lot of people share in the importance of this. And what would you like the community that's already given, that is thinking about giving, that may give later today to know about Corey and what he meant to this community and what the community meant to him?
Yes, he would be so honored to see this. I'm sure he's looking down right now just in awe and wondering how wonderful his community is. And he truly was a giver and not a taker. So, yeah.
Thank you so much again for your work, for your openness, and you know, we're thinking about you guys through all of this too, and Corey's family as well. Again, if you would like to give, please call right now, 274-4000. Our phone lines will have volunteers, awesome volunteers manning the phones all day through our News 3 at 10 broadcast. Leah, will send it back to you.
All right, as if you needed another reason to donate right there. Again, that number, 608-274-4000. Thanks to Danica. Well, 6:41 your time now. Take advantage of the sunshine and the low humidity today because the chance for storms, it's going to return later this week. Caddy's going to update our first alert forecast when we return. But first, if you have a little kiddo turning 3 soon, let us know so we can show their picture on News 3 this morning.
Get some calls into these awesome volunteers. You are looking live right now at our Sun Prairie Strong phone bank. Some friendly faces, a nice wave, and totally awesome donors already calling in this morning. Thousands of dollars already donated. That number, 274-4000, if you would like to help with any of the relief for the explosion in that city.
Some great work being done there.
Yes.
Speaking of great, another beautiful day on tap. Hattie's got the details. Good morning, Hattie.
Good morning. We do have a beautiful day today. Temperatures hitting highs right around 80 degrees. Normal is 82 for this time of the year, so we're just a little bit below that. We drop down into the 70s for the end of the week on Thursday and Friday with some rain moving back into the area, but then we quickly return to the 80s this weekend. Speaking of those rain chances, take a look at Thursday with a storm system moving into the state. We have rain chances from north to south across Wisconsin, especially coming in here in southern Wisconsin Thursday afternoon into the nighttime hours. Now, this storm system is going to be a rather slow-moving system, so you see rain still in the area through the day on Friday, and then possibly even into Saturday. We could see some of those showers wrap back around this system and affect southern Wisconsin or parts of central Wisconsin late on Saturday as well. Sunday looks to be a little drier, a better chance for some dry weather across the region. Here's a look at rain potential again for this entire event. Could be around an inch, maybe a little bit more in some spots, slightly less as you head up towards Green Bay, but a good rain for the state. Here's a look at what we have this morning. No rain for any area in Wisconsin right now. We are watching some clouds to the west. They'll be drifting across southern Wisconsin at times today, but the rain chances stay to our west. A live look from the Edgewater Sky Cam at downtown Madison this morning. Beautiful start. 63 degrees here in Madison, 62 in the Dells. Camp Douglas is starting in the 50s, but everyone else at least in the low 60s this morning. Dew points are key this time of the year, and unlike yesterday, they're much more comfortable this morning. Dew point numbers right around 60, so you're not noticing that humidity. Winds are expected to stay from the northwest today, but very light, less than 10 miles an hour across southern Wisconsin. Here's a look at your Pinpoint City forecast highs today. Fort Atkinson topping at 78 degrees. New Glarus hitting a high of 79. And in Middleton and Sun Prairie, you're looking at a high of 78 degrees. To the west, we have high temperatures right around 80 in Darlington and Platteville, 81 in Muscoda. And to the north, more 70s on this map, 78 in Poinette and 79 in Montello. Here in Madison today, temperatures will top right around 80 degrees. A gorgeous day tomorrow, 80 as well. Partly sunny skies. Rain chances return on Thursday, especially moving in the afternoon into the night. And then those rain chances stick in the forecast through Saturday. Not bad on those temperatures, though, with highs back in the 80s this weekend. Here's our pet walk forecast.
Buddy, do not wake me up.
This is not so much a walk, but more of a pet nap. Allie in Janesville. Love that post. 78 degrees at 3.
Thank you very much, Addie.
Stay with us. The morning sprint is up next. It is 6:51 now. Time for the morning sprint. Hattie says it's looking like a pretty perfect July day with temperatures in the 80s, but we do have some storms in the forecast later this week.
We start live, though, in Sun Prairie, where Josh Spreiter has an update on the investigation into last week's explosion. Josh, good morning.
Good morning. That rebuilding of downtown Sun Prairie is still on hold this morning as police continue to investigate the cause of last week's explosion. Changes to the downtown area can't be made until officers finish the death investigation. You'll remember firefighter Corey Barr was killed in that explosion. Sun Prairie police say they should be wrapping up in a few days, then business owners can return. There are now 2 different investigations underway, one by police trying to figure out the criminal negligence caused the explosion, and a second by OSHA that deals with workers digging near the site and if they did anything wrong while on the job.
Thank you, Josh. The state has its own laws to make sure crews are digging where it's safe to do so. The subcontractor hired by Kansas-based Bear Communications was working on a fiber project when a gas line was hit in that area. Experts say that's actually fairly common on construction sites. However, natural gas then pooled in the basement of that Sun Prairie building, which ignited and caused the explosion. We did reach out to the state-run Diggers Hotline to see if regulators were monitoring that site. The agency has not responded.
Some kids haven't had a place to sleep since that explosion. So the Bed Lady Project is collecting blankets, pillows, and other bedding for kids who have been displaced. That group knows of at least 22 children who still need help. And as we've seen over and over again with the Sun Prairie community, the response has been significant. But they still need donations, particularly comforters. If you'd like to help, we have a link to that Facebook page up on channel3000.com.
The Sun Prairie Strong phone lines are open right now and will be through our News 3 at 10 broadcast. You are seeing a call for action right there. 274-4000 is the number that you should give a call to. The Bank of Sun Prairie is donating all of the proceeds to families affected by the explosion, as well as the Sunshine Place and the city's emergency food pantry. We will have live coverage from the phone bank and Sun Prairie all day here on News 3.
And if you're looking for more ways to show your support, today the Culvers in Sun Prairie will be donating 50% of its sales to the families of Captain Corey Barr and the other injured firefighter, Ryan Welch. That runs from 10 a.m. to midnight at its location on West Main Street.
A perfect day for custard today. We have sunshine with high temperatures, very comfortable, right around 80 degrees. Take a look in Platteville this morning. The Queen Bee Radio Skycam, blue skies, 64 this morning in Platteville, 63 here in Madison, and 64 in Janesville. Lots of sunshine today with a light north wind. I mentioned highs right around 80 degrees later on this afternoon.
Hattie, thank you. 4 teens face charges this morning after police say they crashed a stolen car into a tree and ran away from officers. Madison police were called to that crash near the Smart Motors used car lot on Odana Road. They say 2 of the 4 suspects actually ran through a home and damaged windows while trying to escape from police.
The Madison man accused of causing a fatal crash on John Nolan Drive should be back in court this morning. Police say 22-year-old Gavin Viam admitted to drinking and taking LSD before he crashed into another car at a red light at the intersection of John Nolan and Blair Street last month. 45-year-old Deano McCullough died in that crash. Viam faces charges of homicide by intoxicated use of a vehicle and second-degree reckless homicide.
The Richland County man accused of assaulting a 12-year-old girl is set to enter a plea in court today. According to court documents, 47-year-old John Elder sexually abused that girl in his apartment. His girlfriend faces a felony charge as well for allegedly making the arrangements and convincing the victim to come to the apartment. That woman also faces a felony charge and is due in court tomorrow.
Fitchburg police are talking to their neighbors about a spike in gun violence in that community this week. On Thursday night, a 29-year-old man was shot near Leopold Elementary School. And most recently, Monday night, a man was shot on Anton Drive off Verona Road. Tonight, police will hold a community meeting to talk about concerns people in the area might have. That's at 6:30 at the Fairway Apartments office on Traceway Drive. Then tomorrow night, they'll have another meeting at the Head Start Center on Red Arrow Trail.
City leaders will choose from 5 different candidates today to recommend who should serve as an alder until next April's election. The Madison Common Council's Executive Committee will make that recommendation tonight. This is to fill a vacant spot for District 16 after Denise DeMar moved out of that east side area and resigned from council. Council will take a final vote on her replacement next Tuesday.
Frontier Airlines will end nonstop flights from Madison to Philadelphia in October. A spokesperson from the Dane County Airport confirmed it to us this week. Frontier has been offering a nonstop to Philly since April 8th, with flights running on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. Its last flight will be October 6th, and will be replaced with a nonstop to Orlando the next day. American Airlines is still offering nonstop flights to Philly.
UW-Whitewater police say you better have a parking permit on campus or risk a higher fine. The price of those tickets went from $25 to $100. Before the increase, students would just risk the $25 ticket rather than pay about $200 for a permit. Police say the fees can be waived if the driver ends up buying a permit. Here's to hoping your drive is not a parking lot. Let's check in one more time with Josh Tim with your First Alert traffic. Good morning, Josh.
Good morning. Well, the usual crowd is beginning to pop up on the westbound side of the Beltline between Stoughton Road and West Broadway, but so far no major delays quite yet. I would look for some brake lights in that area within the next 10 to 15 minutes. For a minute or two, probably towards the downtown area. And other main routes leading into the city, including on the interstate, are cruising along at the usual speeds with no major crashes or issues. Your First Alert traffic, I'm Josh Tim.
Thanks, Josh.
And here's the view. The polar bear still swimming this morning. It's a beautiful day to head outside. We have sunshine.
Come on, let's see. Yeah, there he is.
What a great day. Sunshine today, temperatures hitting highs right around 80 degrees. Humidity levels should stay low today as well. So the polar bear may be a little more happy today than yesterday.
Great day to take a dip.
Definitely. Thank you, Hattie. Thank you, Leah. And thank you all who have already donated to our Sun Prairie Strong phone bank and telethon here. That number again, 274-4000. If you're looking to give, 274-4000. We will have live updates throughout the day right here on News 3.
Making plans that are weather dependent? Get an accurate 12-hour, even a 10-day forecast. Download the Channel 3000 First Alert Weather app and start planning.